Everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, we're going to take a look at the new Justice League 7-inch scale New 52 Green Lantern John Stewart figure from DC Collectibles. Now this figure comes packaged in the same style of packaging we've seen with the other New 52 figures from this line. You've got the white window box type packaging and then the green highlights for the character since he's a Green Lantern. You've got the Justice League logo up at the top, figure clearly displayed in the window box packaging, and then you've got the name of the character down below. On one side you have a darkened in image of the character, and then on the other we have a look at the actual figure. It tells us it was sculpted by Robert Linders, and then on the back we have a little thumbnail image, and then we have a look at other figures in the New 52 line. Okay, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging, and I've got to say the figure looks pretty good. The sculpting is nice on it. I like the head sculpt. I think they've done a good job. I like the little lines on his forehead that they've sculpted in, and I think they've captured the likeness of John Stewart pretty good. The skin tones are nice. He's got the metallic green, and then he's got black. Now, one thing that's a little strange is it looks like they've sprinkled little green glitter all throughout the black portions of the costume. I don't know if that's just supposed to be for added effect or what. You know, in the comics it's not like he has green glitter or anything like that on the black. I mean, it's just solid black in the comics as I recall. So I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it just seemed a little odd to me, and you don't even really notice it unless you get it in like bright light like I have for photographing. But still, just wanted to point that out. He's got the ring, of course. And then, like I said, he's got the metallic green for the rest of the costume. And he's got the metallic green eyes. Yeah, I know his eyes have a tendency to light, glow green. I don't know. And maybe the metallic green wasn't the best color. I'm not sure. I mean, again, it's not terrible, but it looks a little odd to me. Again, I know what they were going for with that effect, but I don't know. A different shade of green may have been better than metallic. One area where I do want to note where there's some paint rubbing is here on the shoulders where the arm meets the torso. You can see here, depending on how you move the arm, there's some definite rubbing where you can see the green has kind of gotten rubbed. So just wanted to point that out. You can also, depending on how you turn the arms, and seen this with other DC collectible figures, but you can see the holes from the joint from the top. Again, depending on how you actually kind of pose his arms. So again, just want to note that. But definitely you can see a lot of rubbing here where the arm meets the torso. And real quick, just a couple other little tiny paint blemishes on my figure I wanted to point out. On his hair, he's got a little brown, looks like a little bit of the black was chipped away, so you can see some brown coming through in his hair. Not too major, but on his neck you can see a green, pretty decent sized green splotch on his the brown skin of his neck from his costume, so that's a little more noticeable, so just wanted to point that out. Okay, so this figure stands about 6 3/4 inches tall, so he's pretty much the same height as the other Green Lantern figures in the line. Here he is next to the New 52 version of Hal Jordan, and you can see they're about the same height. And then here he is next to the Simon Baz version of Green Lantern, and again they're about the same height. Stewart's maybe a little bit taller, but for the most part I think they're about the same height. So articulation on this figure it's not great, but it is actually better than the previous Green Lantern figures in this line. The head is just on a ball joint, so he can look left and right, and he doesn't really have much in the way of up or down movement. He can look down a little bit, but not a whole lot. He can kind of pivot to the left and the right. Arms are attached with your standard ball hinge joint, so he can get his arm out good. And he's got good rotation there at the arm. He's got the bicep swivel. He's got a single hinged elbow, so he can bend his elbow about that much. He does not have any kind of wrist articulation on this one. No midsection articulation. He does have, the legs are attached with ball joints, and so he can do the splits. And the joints on this one seem to be well constructed, so I don't think you have to worry about them breaking. He can get his leg forward good, and he can do his leg back pretty good. No thigh swivel. Single hinged knee, so he can bend his knee about that much. And then he's got a hinge on his ankle, so he's got some up and down movement. Actually has pretty good up movement with the feet, but they do not have pivots. So No pivots on the ankle. He does have a swivel at the boot cuff though. And then one peg hole on the bottom of his foot. Okay, so that's my view. Overall, I like the figure. I think it looks pretty good. I like that it's got added articulation. Again, I wouldn't go as far as to say it's great articulation, but it's definitely an improvement over the previous Green Lantern figures in this line. You know, he doesn't have that T-crotch, and he's got the boot cuff swivel and the hinge joints on the ankle. You know, certainly would have liked to have seen a little more articulation, but again, for this line, it's not too bad. And the detailing and the sculpting and everything is good. Now, I do believe that this is the final figure that DC Collectibles is doing in the 7-inch scale for their new 52 line. I think this figure basically wraps things up. They might be, I think, if I remember correctly, reissuing their Swamp Thing figure. I think that's still coming, but for the most part, this is pretty much it for the 7-inch new 52 line as they get ready to gear up for their new 6-inch Icons figures, which I'm actually very excited for. I got to see them again last week at San Diego Comic-Con, and I'm definitely looking forward to that line. So I'm a little disappointed that this line is coming to an end, but definitely excited that we're getting the new Icons. And it doesn't really bother me too much that we're getting the 6-inch scale as opposed to 7-inch on those because, you know, basically, you know, that'll fit in better with other lines like Marvel Legends and stuff. So that's my review. As always, you know, we'll have a full gallery of images of this figure up at toynewseye.com. There'll be a link in the description below. Please leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.